Alright, welcome back. I'm just going to do a quick little update video. I did 14 hours of work yesterday, so the pond is drastically different. Maybe we'll go up here. So stick around. I'll just do a quick little walk around, show you what I did. So I left the zucchinis out yesterday. I'm hardening them off. That's great. So they're all dead. So here's the pond update. I wanted to get the drone out, but it's actually raining, so I may not be able to get the drone out yet. But I put down roughly 42 yards of wood chips yesterday. So there are wood chips everywhere, and I'm not even done yet. So tons of planting too. That herbaceous layer update that I did a while ago, got all those wildflower seeds. Picked those up yesterday and planted them all out. So we've got stuff crammed into every imaginable spot. Everything is tiny and baby right now. So pretty much if I could cram something in, I crammed it in, even right in between rocks. So the idea for a lot of this stuff is it's going to creep and crawl. I got a lot of vining, creeping plants, so they'll creep over the rocks. Give a really nice little look. Tons and tons. So much diversity in here. I've got a bunch of creeping thyme that I'm going to save for the walkways, so I'm going to plant them along in corners along the walkway, and I'm hoping that they'll kind of creep over. And then I'll put walkway stepper stones that I picked up. Cheap, reuse, basically. I like upcycling stuff as much as possible. So that will kind of give this nice little stepping stone walkway with like a creeping thyme coming over. And then actually, sorry for going everywhere, I put out these pieces of wood to just show people where to walk for now. I'll probably do something else later, but for example, that there is a plant. So there's just so many fragile baby plants in here that I don't want people to accidentally step on all this stuff. These are like blue violets and a bunch of really nice kind of lupin looking pond, like they have a real pond aesthetic to them. This is where the fig ended up. So the fig, this is Chicago hardy. They tend to die to the ground every year, but I'm hoping full sun exposure, tons of thermal mass with the rocks and the water, moving water. That'll really keep, if this thing can survive anywhere, it'll survive here. I might add some more rocks around it in the wintertime just to try to give it as much thermal mass as possible. This stone here, I was cleaning it up, and this is a really cool experiment. So I was cleaning this up, just taking some of the dirt off it, kind of like, oh, there's already frogs in here, look at this. So just cleaning out the dirt on some of these rocks, and this one here, what a cool rock this was. It's got all these craters in it. Some of these, like this one here, actually goes straight through, down, and underneath. And it was pretty much the size of the potting hole for the elderberry. Now I know elderberry likes wet feet, not necessarily soaking feet. So I put it halfway up, put soil around it, wood chips. I'm hoping it'll be a cool experiment. Maybe an elderberry will grow in actual wet feet, like soaking wet feet, half like in the water, because there's so much oxygen in the water right here from these waterfalls coming right across that it might be able to pick up enough oxygen in that kind of flow. should be neat. If I start seeing signs, so the signs I'm looking for that one are chlorosis. So if I start seeing yellowing of the leaves, especially from the tip back, then I know it's probably that the roots are drowning in water and they're not getting oxygen, and then I can move it. But I'm hoping there's enough oxygen in there. But I know what I'm looking for, and that would be a pretty cool place to put an elderberry. It'll be interesting to see it. So say it does work there, how big does it get? Its roots are kind of constricted, but at the same time it's infinite. Like those roots can go all through the water, down through the rocks, anchor itself in there. It'll be neat to see how much water, or how big that gets. Snuck some strawberries in here in the rocks. The roots go down just inside the pond liner. The pond liner comes behind this log here, so these are actually in the pond, and maybe the roots can get down in behind and access some of the water. Maybe they'll actually run her and crawl across this log. Will be fun to see. Creeping Jenny, that'll really spread out and fall over that ledge. Another creeping plant. Got the peach in. We got some cilantro planted in there, some parsley, sea buckthorn, comfrey next to it. So this spot here is going to be the eventual deck, and the deck goes roughly to where I wood chipped. So I did a forest guild in here. Again, like I say before, south is there, so this spot will get some morning sun. It'll be blocked for most of the hot sun, including, depending on the time of the year and how high the sun is, this cedar and those cedars. So this area here can get very shady. So I put tons of shade-loving plants in here. So there's some ostrich fern in here. There's some trilliums, which is the Ontario native wildflower. I got that from a conservatory, so like totally legit. Like I didn't go forage them. Really nice if I can get those established. There's just such a nice, strong heritage cultural thing there. We've got some wild geraniums. We have wild garlic. What else do we got? Wild gingers in here. The beard tongue is in here as well. So this will be kind of neat. Oh, and I forgot about the best one. So there's the wild ginger there. Companion plant for this cherry. So the eventual deck will be right here. Maybe I'll do a stepper this way to go down along this rock wall, and another stepper down here to go around the back. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could prune this as it grows, and as you're walking down this area, you're picking a couple cherries. Now, there's only one cherry there, but I have two over here. So I'm hoping that's enough. I might, in the future, add another cherry there, just to kind of get them close enough for cross-pollination. But I thought that'd be kind of neat. Come walking down here and grab some cherries as you go walking down this cool little ledge above, you know, maybe not OSHA approved ledge. So maybe I don't know, do I want to have people walking along this ledge? Maybe, maybe not. Got a serviceberry bush here. I guess I'll zoom out, show you guys where we are. Down here on this OSHA approved walking ledge. Nice serviceberry here. This is the Saskatoon berry variety. It's the Ansifola serviceberry. So that is the Saskatoon berry. It's a juicier berry. It's the Canadensis serviceberry is a little more mealy. Really good though. I really like it. This one's a little juicier of a berry, and we've got like some more trilliums planted in there. We've got some parsley, ostrich fern. Those are the fiddleheads. And when I say I've planted every nook and cranny, took some clay, jammed in like a nice little small, I can't remember which one this is. It's one of those wildflowers. Like, this is what I did. Literally everywhere. If something could have soil, like this is going to be a neat spot on this rock. Jam a plant in there. So everywhere we have, this cord is going to be gone too. Can't get the electrician out here to the job site yet with the coronavirus lockdown. Yarrow, so yarrow's a nice mountain plant. It wants to grow in sand basically, so kind of perfect. It wants some shade. So this is a nice shady sandy area along rocks. This is like yarrow perfect spot. So this will be really neat to see how these grow. Wood chipped all the areas to prevent erosion. Every single area where there is a crevice between rocks, I put in some other rocks to hold back the wood chips, and then a wood chip layer. So hopefully that'll stop the erosion, stop the flow of stuff down. We've got this marginal wetland area here with this log that comes across, and there's like this wicking action that kind of happens just over the log. So we've got some stuff that want moist feet. These are more from the wetland guild. So we've got some lavender in there. This here, planted stuff like this. This is a wetland plant. I can't remember which one exactly. I have to double check. So jammed it in between rocks. There's this back cycling of water that it can wick up and suck, and then put some soil in there. It actually wants to be in soil, so I put some soil down in there to wick the moisture up. So that should kind of climatize and naturalize into that spot. Let's go down to the bottom and look at this rock wall now. So a couple things I want to mention down here. All these little ledges are just going to be so neat. So I'm trying to plant them all out, stick plants in between all the crevices of rocks like I was saying. This waterfall here, I'll show you, but there's a hole in the rock and some water trickles out. It looks so nice, like the water kind of had cut through that rock over the last 1,000 years. What actually happens is some of it splashes into this garden, and I thought that is a perfect place for an elderberry. They kind of want really nice wet soil, so that is just going to be perfect. We've got a rhododendron here that'll really fill this spot out. I put it out from the wall a bit so that I can trim it and sneak in behind it. It'll be kind of this little hidden little area that you can get at that ostrich fern and the elderberry. And then this hill. So this is the reservoir. When the reservoir fills, it will overflow down this rock ledge and get to the lower areas without washing this out. This slope is pretty aggressive though. So this whole area I've been really struggling trying to figure out what to do with, because it's pure sand, it's on an angle, like a really bad slope. So this is like erosion central. I don't know what I'm gonna plant. I was thinking originally of cutting a swale into this, but what I think I might do is, because this area had a bunch of poison ivy like creeping in from the edges, so I think what I might do is actually turn this into a wildflower hill. This whole hill is going to be wildflowers. So I went out with my wife and got wildflowers today, and I'm going to just cover and blanket this hill in lupins, clover, and just tons and tons of different wildflowers. I'll show you some of the stuff that I got. And then this will be like a pollinator hill. And then when this overflows, when the pond gets tons of rainwater, like say right now, it will eventually come out here in this low area, and this is a perfect place for willows. So we're going to put the willows down here, and then I might do some stepping stuff up here so you can kind of enjoy this. Some, I don't know, maybe like hostas, comfrey, kind of stuff that wants to kind of crawl over these rocks to kind of blend it in and naturalize it, because it looks like a bit of a slip and slide right now. Not a fun one, but it looks like a slip and slide. So we'll make this look nice. It'll actually be this wildflower hill. Should be nice with willows at the bottom, and then that'll transition into the pawpaw area. I'm really trying to tie together all the zones I have. So we've got a willow there. Let's show you this waterfall. It's really cool. So here's this waterfall where half of it comes over this log and half down behind the second. I have no idea if you can hear me, by the way. It's so loud here. But what it actually does is there's this hole in the rock, and some of the flow actually comes through there. It's really neat. And then it splashes. Now the liner is back here, but it still splashes off this rock and gets in here. And I was noticing the soil before I mulched it stayed nice and damp. So this is kind of a perfect place for the fern in shade underneath the eventual large elderberry, and the elderberry is going to just love it in there. And then planted more wetland loving plants in here. This is another back cove that kind of has access to soil, wet soil. So this plant here wants to be in wet soil. So I kind of plugged it in there, and it'll be like natural wicking action happening. We've got some mosses that we've been putting in around the waterfalls here. Some splashing happening on this rock. More mosses and another wetland loving plant in there. So yeah, when I say I've been planting everywhere, I really do mean it. Every nook and cranny has been planted out. We've got some bog goldenrod down in here. Got a strawberry like right into the rock. And then this whole area will be wood chipped out. It's still bare soil. I was running out of wood chips and it was like 9:30 at night. Got some lavender in here. Just some shorter stuff. The pond liner comes down. I only have like 2 to 3 inches of soil. So I couldn't put any big bushes in here to hide this. So I put in some herbs that'll kind of maybe plant over and creep over. Some lavender will get decently tall. And then this here will kind of come out. And I'll just do my best. I might be able to get another bush in here to creep over and hide this. So I'll do my best, but I obviously need to get at it to winterize it. I might have to pull out the check valves in the line just to make sure that water doesn't come down and hold in a standing vertical pipe. So I might have to take the check valves off and drain that line. So I might have to get in there. I did some steps. So just some logs that I had left around, put in some steps, flattened it out, so flat step as much as I could. This is just really so I can actually use this site. I'll probably fix it as I go. Just crammed in there. Stuff everywhere. It's been really fun. I have to say all the different ledges and stuff really give a cool creative element. You can just sneak stuff in everywhere. More lavender. This creeping Jenny will creep over here, down into the walkway until you're eventually stepping on it, and then it'll say, hey, enough of that. We've got some black-eyed Susan here. Just in the corner, so you'll get these nice, you know, the big black-eyed Susan with the big black center of the flower and the yellow petals. Kind of be nice. Heather in here, St. John's wort, very good medicinal plant, very showy. Some daylilies, just literally cramming the space everywhere. Oh, and then I did this. I'll show this, and then we'll go. So one other thing, I got 2 water hyacinths. So these are illegal to own if you're somewhere warm. Don't plant them. Here they die. Even if they get into our waterways, they die. It won't, but even if they do. So they're actually legal here. But these are amazing compost. Tons of water, and they spread like nuts. So what I'm going to use these for is when they spread and fill the whole pond, then I can basically just pull one out and feed it to a fruit tree. And there's so much water stored in those things that it's actually kind of chop and drop mulching, but also watering at the same time. The reason I wanted to show you this is it's kind of interesting. I put this log in just as something that's, if something small gets in there, there's just more ways that it can climb out. You know, that's not really a problem because we have lots of rocks like this in there. So like this is a fairly safe pond for that. But what happened was it actually created a stagnation zone back in here. When I put those water hyacinths in, I put one in this corner because I thought that would be a stagnation zone, and one there because I thought that would be like the water pushes out, and I thought there'd be like a vortex effect that kind of keeps it in there, locked in there. What was neat is they both made their way out, and I was watching them all day to see if they'd get sucked over there, and they both meandered their way back in and got stuck in this log all by themselves. Kind of cool to kind of, you know, observe that, and I was watching to see what the heck would happen with those things floating around on the surface. So that was kind of neat. Okay, let's show you this walk hill. I can't believe I didn't mention these service berries yet, but look at them. Aren't they just crazy? They look so nice right now. Imagine these trees when they're even bigger, just blooming like crazy. And there'll be this nice tied-in wall. And then we also have some up here as well on this swale. So let's go walk across this. I did some kind of like a neat little rock wall where I wove stuff into this wall here. So this is the swale that pops up. I did a lot of work on this stepping stone, mulched all between it. There's cardboard under all the walkways to prevent grasses and stuff from coming up. We've got creeping plants anywhere we can, but I fed these logs in here. Give a couple layers of logs, and then in between the logs, I did these stones. So now I'm gonna come in and plant some stuff all in here. Lots of really fine, detailed work, but I think it will really make a big difference. Small little details like that. Might be a cool place for my niece to come and do some kind of fairy garden or something like that. I don't know. She might like to do something like that. Not really my thing, but you know, it's those little details that that my niece might like, or the kids might like. Little things for you to kind of walk around this pond and go and discover, you know, explore and discover. This back of the waterfall is just going to be really neat in 10 years because we've got 3 pawpaws here, and those are just going to have such a cool tropical look coming over the top of this waterfall. It's going to take a while because they're notoriously slow growing trees, but hopefully, yeah, it'll look really nice. Tons of companion plants. Some of these ground creeping stuff like this here will creep across and fill the space out. So it should be nice. That's the update for now. Lots of wood chips. Thanks for watching, and I'll probably do another one tomorrow. Also got to get these things planted. Tomatoes doing pretty well. And then here we have, these are the Empress tree seedlings.